my dear students, I hope you all are making the best use of your time. So today I am here with the poem My Mother at 66 written by Kamaladas, and I am going to cover the complete poem in just few minutes. Yes, you heard it right. I'll take you to the mind map that I made covering all the aspects of the poem. In a mind map you have all the contents of the topic on a single page. Now that's the beauty of it. So you may make this mind map in your notebook if you wish to fix the contents of the poem in your mind. So without any further waste of time, let's get started. First, let's talk about the title. So the title is My Mother at 66. Now 66 is a figure which signifies old age. So we can easily make out from the title that the poet is talking about her mother who is in her old age, right? Now let's talk about the poet. So our poet, we have Kamaladas as the poet, and she is known by her pen name Madhava Kutti. She was inspired by her mother, and she was advocate of human rights, especially for women and children. Now let's talk about the central idea of the poem. So the poem discovers the emotional relationship between the poet and her mother. So the poem has a sad tone to it, and it also throws light on the paradox of human relationships. So the poet's feelings and concerns about her mother are portrayed in a sensitive manner in the poem. Now the entire poem flows in a single sentence interspersed with commas with many ideas woven into it. Right? Now let's talk about the theme of the poem. So the first theme that we have is aging. So the poem talks about the universal theme of aging leading to terrible fear of death, separation and isolation. Now the poet in this poem has a fear of loss and separation from her mother. Now she also has a feeling of guilt because she is unable to take care of her mother when her mother needs her the most. Now we have a note of optimism also in the last lines of the poem, where the poet says, see you soon, Amma. But deep inside her heart, she knows that maybe she won't be able to see her mother alive when she sees her the next time. Now let's see the description of the mother, how the mother has been described by the poet in the poem. So she is wan, pale and lifeless. She sat dozed in the car. Her face looked dull and lifeless. The color of her face resembled the color of ash. Ash is greyish in color. Face is compared to late winter's moon. Now let's see the major events to understand the poem better. So the poem starts with when the poet is on her way back to the airport to return to Cochin on Friday morning in a car. This is because the poet visited her parents' home and now she wants to return. So her mother is sitting beside her in the car, and when she looks at her mother, she finds her dozing. Dozing means sleeping. And the poet has described her mother very well. So her face looks dull, pale, pale means colorless, and wan, wan means lifeless. So she realizes that her mother has grown old and approaching towards her end, which is death. And this thought pains her a lot. So that's why she looks outside the car now. So when she looks outside the car, she finds trees sprinting. Now sprinting means running. So whenever we are traveling in a car and we look outside, we see that the objects are moving or running in the opposite direction. So that is why she says trees sprinting or running in the opposite direction, and children spilling out of their homes. Now spilling here means coming out of their homes for playing. So this image is in contrast to the scene inside the car, and the scene outside the car symbolizes youth, energy, vitality and life, right? The scene inside the car represents dullness, lack of energy, lifelessness and sadness. So the poet has used two contrasting images together. At the airport security check, she looks at her mother and compares her face to that of a late winter's moon. Now how is a late winter's moon? It is without any luster, it does not have any shine, it looks very dull. Now the poet is again reminded of her childhood fear. And what is her childhood fear? Of losing her mother. So she says goodbye to her mother, saying, "See you soon, Amma," smilingly. So here we see a note of optimism, because deep in her heart she knows that maybe the next time when she is meeting her mother, she won't be able to see her alive. So the last thing that she does is, "I smiled and smiled and smiled." So she is using the word smile, smile, smile 3 times, thrice. Why? To hide her real feelings of pain and fear. She uses smile to cover her face, to cover her internal feelings of pain and fear. Now let's look at the poetic devices used in the poem. So the first one is, "Face ashen like a corpse, as late as a winter's moon." Now here the poet compares the face of her mother to a corpse, to a dead body, and to late winter's moon. So here the poet compares 2 different objects together by using like or as. So that is why this poetic device is simile. The next one we have is personification in the phrase trees sprinting. Now the trees are running. So the trees have been given human qualities. So that is why we say personification. And imagery also has been used in this phrase, because as soon as this phrase comes into our mind, a picture of the trees running picturizes in our mind. The next one we have imagery in the phrase children spilling. That means children coming out of their homes in large numbers, full of life and full of enthusiasm. The next one we have is repetition. Repetition is using a single word again and again, like smile and smile and smile. So the poet has used this word smiled thrice to emphasize. The next one we have is symbolism. Now symbolism is a poetic device in which some objects are used to symbolize something, right? So now here in this poem, the young trees sprinting and children, they symbolize what? Youth, energy, vitality, enthusiasm. And the mother here symbolize weakness, dullness, aging and death. Now I hope you must have enjoyed the video. If yes, then do like the video and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share the video with your friends and other family members as well. If you want to see a mind map on any lesson, then you can mention it in the comment section below. Thank you everyone. Take care.